Yeah. Quite interesting. So the main areas in robotics are, uh, related to agriculture, and also are there applications in medical, surgical robots are also popular. So what are the other areas that are using more and more robots these days? Of course, manufacturing is like the primary one.
Yeah. So this year, because of the pandemic, there was quite a big uptake on mobile robots for disinfection or handling
Yeah.
the patients. And I think this is a really good idea. Well, there are some things you need to consider with those disinfectant robots that use UV light because it's dangerous to humans. So as robot designers, we need to take this into account to make sure that, okay, you shouldn't operate this in the environment where humans are actively present.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm hoping that we'll have some more personal robots projects happening. The biggest one I can think of is Roomba, which is probably the number
Yeah.
one selling robot in the world. Um, and I'm yeah, I don't have a Roomba. I should have one, but you know, maybe one day. As a
But
roboticist, you need a Roomba.
Roomba is also not that expensive now. It's quite used.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's but one thing that Roomba does when it comes to robots that you use at home is the simplicity, because this
Hmm.
robot has just one task to do, and they made it so it can do this one task and do it well. And I think this is number one lesson for consumer robots, because there were lots of companies trying to do robots that would do everything, but
Yeah.
it's really complex, especially if you want, because there are companies that would try to use 6 degrees of freedom robot arms in a personal space. And I think this is hugely difficult. It's probably possible,
You
but
mean
it's
for homes or
for homes, yeah.
okay?
Yeah, but the robots needs to be huge, and it's quite expensive as well. But there's a recent project called from a company called Hello Robot, and
Hmm.
they try quite simple approach where they have just a robot base and a robot manipulator that's only, I think, 3 degrees of freedom. So it moves
Okay.
up and then extends forward, and then it has an end effector that's I think can move. I don't know if it can move sideways, but for sure it can move up and down.
So a
Uh,
Cartesian, prismatic joint based robot.
yeah, basically. And so I like this idea because it's it looks simple, and simple is probably good for consumer robots.
Yeah. I think a 6 degree of freedom robot arm on a work desk would probably not everyone. I mean, people would be skeptical on having it, and also people
Yeah.
have like biases related to robots. So
Mhm.
probably that wouldn't be a good idea. But I mean, uh, if a smaller uh, robotic arm could be made available, then probably also uh, people would be more open. I mean, I think